Om Shri Sairam. Dearest, most beloved Swami, my humble and loving pranams at thy divine lotus feet. At the very outset, our sincerest gratitude to you for guiding us through the last 10 years to offer this flower called Samarpan at your lotus feet. October is really a bright month for all the Sai family in Mumbai. We just celebrated Dussehra some days ago. We are going to have Diwali celebrations starting in a few days. Swami is arriving in Mumbai in the form of the Divya Jyoti. And we stand here today at the 150th edition of Samarpan. Respected elders, dear brothers and sisters, we welcome you all to this milestone edition. With Bhagawan's divine grace, we have the privilege of welcoming Dr. Siddhartha Raju as our guest speaker on this special occasion. As a student and as a singer of the Prasanthi Mandir Bhajan Group, and now as a member of the faculty of the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, he has had several experiences and learnings from Bhagawan, which he will be sharing with us. Having Brother Siddharth as our speaker today puts me in a minor quandary, for there's a lot I can say about him, or I can say very little. A lot because we were classmates and have shared a few interesting adventures together. Very little because we were classmates and have shared a few interesting adventures together. But looking at all your bright faces, I know that Brother Siddhartha needs very little introduction. However, for those who may be new, Dr. Siddhartha hails from Chennai, and as you just heard, a very gifted singer. He was part of the acclaimed Sundaram Bhajan Group for many years. In 2006, he became a part of the Prasanthi Bhajan Group when he joined the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning for his MBA. He was blessed to travel to Kodaikanal during this period in the year 2009 as well. Prior to joining the Sri Sathya Sai Institute, Dr. Siddharth completed his studies, his bachelor's, at Loyola College, Chennai, in English literature. Following his post-graduation, he returned to Chennai and Loyola College to pursue his MA in English under Bhagawan's divine command. He came back to Prasanthi Nilayam in 2011 to join as the faculty in the Department of English in Prasanthi Nilayam and is currently an assistant professor there. He completed his PhD in post-colonial studies in 2009 and has published multiple research papers on the subject. After Swami and Bhajans, Brother Siddharth's great love, I know, is cricket, a passion he wove into his work by authoring a book, From the Colonial to the Carnival, along with Dr. P.L. Rani, director of the Anantapur campus. One thing though, regrettably enough in Mumbai, Brother Siddharth is not a fan of Sachin Tendulkar. A minor quirk which we are more than willing to overlook. Dr. Siddharth is also a very talented stage actor and playwright, having performed on many occasions in the divine presence. He travels extensively both within India and abroad, spreading Bhagawan's love and message through his talks and music. Brother Siddharth, we welcome you with love on this momentous occasion of the 150th anniversary, 150th edition of Samarpan. Sairam.
I offer myself at the lotus feet of my beloved master, Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Thank you, Brother Anush, for that wonderful introduction. And I want to start off by saying that I want to congratulate this entire team, which consists of my senior brothers, some of whom were my classmates, and also some who were my students, on this really amazing milestone of having hit 150 editions of Samarpan. And what a galaxy of devotees have come here before me. I just browsed through their YouTube page to see who are the people who have come. And it instilled a deep sense of fear in me because, like I said, an amazing galaxy of speakers have been here before me. They include my teachers, my mentors, and people who have influenced and inspired me in so many ways. It felt like I was stepping into a space which I had no business stepping into. Because if you've heard the kind of stalwarts that you have heard in the last 149 editions, it's a big space to fill. And I was wondering that, if you have been here to as many of those editions as possible, one would realize that each one of those people and all those to come after me, they will all make us understand one thing, that Swami has come here for each one of us. Each one of their stories would make you think that he came for that person, right? And that's what makes him a Lord so amazing, so incomprehensible, and yet so fascinating. And how he shows us time and again, over and over and again, that he is there for us. And this is the story of those who have come to this side of the podium. And it is no different from the hundreds who sit on this side of the podium and those who watch these talks online. When I was contacted and asked to come here, invited for this special edition of Samarpan, firstly, I must admit that every chance, and I'm sure any speaker would accept this when I say, that every chance to speak at Samarpan or any occasion where the Sathya Sai organizations call you for a chance to speak, every chance to speak is actually a journey for the person who's called to speak. And like Anush said, Swami has blessed me with these opportunities to go around the country and sometimes even outside the country to speak. The first pitfall is that most people already know what you're going to speak because they've heard your previous talks. To the extent that when they see you before the talk, they say, today you'll be telling that story, huh? This story will you be including? So you're like, okay, so that story is off the chart. You don't want to include that. So there is very little left to say that you have not said before. But then, every time to speak is also an opportunity for the speaker to reflect on their own journey. And when you reflect on that journey, with the passage of time, even if it's 6 months, even if it's 3 months, there is always a new insight that the speaker gets. So the first beneficiary of these Samarpan speeches are definitely the speakers themselves. The journey starts with us. So when I was wondering over the last few weeks, what could be the theme around which I could build? Because the stories that I have, Anush summarized my life in 4 lines. And that's all there is to my life. So when I was thinking, how can I say this differently? And when I was looking for a theme, I was going through this compilation of letters written by Bhagawan called Prema Dhara. I'm sure some of us might have come across those books. They are compilations of Swami's letters to students as well as to devotees. But though the letter might have been written in 70s or 80s or 90s, and the receiver of the letter might be somebody whom we don't even know, I can guarantee you that when Swami wants to give you a message, he will be writing to us from the past. There will be a message written that answers your question, which was written to somebody by Swami in 1979. Right? That is the beauty of how the Lord manages to reach out to us. And when I was going through these letters, there was one phrase that struck me. On many occasions, Swami has signed off these letters with the phrase, "Accept my blessings, Sri Sathya Sai." So, because I found this in multiple letters, the same phrase, "Accept my blessings," I thought I wanted to talk today with that being the touchstone of the theme around which I want to weave my story. So when we say accept my blessings, the first thing that I realized when I look back at my life to Swami, firstly, and then I will talk about my life with Swami. When I look at accept my blessings as a touchstone for my life to Swami, the first thing is the number of blessings that he sent in the form of the right people at the exact right time that I needed it. So this, I will have to take you back to the year 2000, 2001. And this was around the time when I was in class 10. And like many kids, I won't say most, like many kids, I was quite a bit of a trouble to my parents and to my family. Now I leave it to your imagination as to what extent I could have been troublesome, because whatever you imagine, you couldn't be off the mark, right? However good or bad your imagination is, I would have been there, done that. So it is at this point, and not somebody gifted academically, I was struggling to score even the basic marks required to pass my exams, and I was approaching my board exams. So there's obviously a lot of friction at home. They would send me to multiple tuitions. I would find multiple ways to bunk those multiple tuitions. I would be found everywhere except where I was supposed to be. And in these circumstances, when my mother is literally and figuratively pulling her hair out, one of my cousins happened to visit us at home. And like how many of our mothers do, they find that outsiders have a better influence. And so she had a private word with him saying, why don't you try to, instill some good sense into him? And this cousin of mine happened to be an alumnus of the university, and he happened to be a bhajan singer too. So he came home after hearing this from my mother. The next time he came home, he called me aside and he gave me an audio cassette. Now, thankfully, I'm in an audience where the term audio cassette might still, resonate. So he gave me an audio cassette and he said, just listen to this. I took the cassette from him and just wanting to be nice to him after he left, I just put it in my tape recorder and I hit play. And brothers and sisters, I can't tell you in words what that sound did to me. And it is only what that sound did to me that makes me stand here in front of you today with the introduction that I got. Because it was a cassette of Sai Bhajans, of which I had no idea about that such a genre of music existed. I had no idea what bhajans was, leave alone having the talent to sing. And from that evening, the only thought that I had in my mind was, I want to be able to produce this sound, which was coming out of the cassette. I just, like how Sant Jnaneshwar made the buffalo chant Vedas, I opened my mouth and I started singing. With no formal training till date, I was as rudimentary a singer as I could have been. But something about that flavor of music, it just occupied such a big space in my heart that I didn't feel that anything else was worth pursuing. And so then all I wanted to consume was more and more of these bhajans, because that cassette had only about 11 or 12 bhajans. So all I wanted was more and more of these bhajans. So one thing led to another, and I found myself at the samiti closest to our house. Again, like I said, Swami, when he says accept my blessings, the blessings comes in the form of the right people at the right time when you need it. And I joined this samiti, and for me, every bhajan session was exciting because I was learning at least 2 or 3 new bhajans in every session. So there was a time when in a week I used to attend 9-10 bhajan sessions. I would finish in one house, go to another house, because it's exciting. The whole preposition of learning this form of music became very exciting. But I was still like a kite in the wind, just fluttering around, with no real focus. When one day, another alumnus of the university comes home and my mother tells him, he's trying to sing. Just listen to him. And this alumnus brother was also a singer. And he heard me sing and he said, yeah, you're okay, but you need to be slightly, refined and trained. I'll put you in touch with someone. You go join him. And so he takes me to a gentleman who happens to be one of the senior most members of the Sundaram Bhajan Group. And so when I go to his house, he listens to me. He says, yeah, you're fine, you're good. I'll teach you, but you'll have to come regularly for practice. And he asked me to shift to his samiti because for logistical reasons. And I joined his samiti, and in that period of a few months, between December and March of that particular year, 2004, he instilled in me the discipline of practice. He instilled in me the love that Swami has for bhajans and why Sai Bhajans is the best way to reach Swami. Now that particular year, that particular samiti had been given an opportunity to do a music program in Sundaram for Ugadi. Like I said, blessings at the right time, the right people. Just because that samiti had a solid, lot of youngsters, they thought that they were good enough to do a music program. And so this sir asked me, would you like to join in the music program? And he gave me a song to sing, along with two others. 3 of us together sang a Kavali. We offered this on Ugadi of 2004. The program went off very well. A week later, we get a news that for that year's Tamil New Year's Day, they want to take some new singers. So they want the same program to be repeated, and there will be a jury which will pick songs and singers for that year's Tamil New Year's Day. So the whole program was repeated a second time. They picked 3 songs, out of which one of the songs was mine. But the other 2 singers who sang with me, unfortunately, were not picked. But I was identified as one of the singers to sing that song. So from being a kid who was just roaming street to street, finding house bhajans to attend, within a span of a few months, I'm being told you will now have an opportunity to sing in front of Swami in Vrindavan. And at that point of time, the only goal I had was to sing once in front of him. Means if he loves this form of music so much, we should sing at least once in front of him, which is a dream that every musician, every singer has when they join. So when we went to Vrindavan that year, my song was the last song of the program. Swami could get up anytime, but again, he chose to sit till the last song. And after that, Swami asked for Aarti. But for a few seconds during my song, I locked eyes with Swami. The distance must have been 25-30 feet. But you knew that he was looking into you at that moment. And for me, one song wasn't enough after that look. And I said, I don't know what I have to do, but I have to do this. This is all I need to pursue. And within a couple of weeks, I got inducted into the Sundaram Bhajan Group. Now imagine, I was introduced as being a member of the Sundaram Bhajan Group for many years. It's not many years. Yes, if I count from then to now, it's many years. But back then, I sang with the Sundaram Bhajan Group without even officially being a part of it. And that is, when I look back, that's the kind of blessing that only the Lord can conjure up. I became an automatic entry into the Sundaram Bhajan Group. I joined the group. And as I was recalling in my talk at Sundaram in July, for the first 6 months after I joined, nobody even asked me what I do in the Bhajan Group. For 6 months, I would go every Thursday, every Sunday, every Saturday also for bhajan practice. Nobody asked, what do you do? Means I was part of the furniture in the room, right? But I still went because, like I said, every session there's something to learn. Even if somebody else is learning a bhajan, it's an opportunity for me to listen and learn. And I was in the midst of people who had so much of experience with Swami. I was learning a lot for sure. When one day, I was sitting by myself, I had gone early, and I was sitting by myself and I was singing. When the bhajan convener happened to walk in, he looked in and he said, "Nee paadviya," he said, "do you sing?" I said, "Yes, I joined the group as a singer." "Oh, I didn't know," he said. So I was like, 6 months, nobody bothered to even find out what I do. Today, no, when I see the youngsters who want to join, they can't last 6 weeks or 6 days without a chance. Right? They would go to the next place where they get a chance. But the only thing I can tell them, as much as they may not relate to it, is that 6 months, the yearning and the kind of, definitely the yearning is the best term to use. The yearning builds. And that kind of built up yearning, when the opportunity comes, your talent it sounds so much different. Because you're not singing from here, you're singing from your heart. Because you've been waiting for it, right? And that's it. I became a Thursday singer. When there's nobody, they'll give you a chance. Sundays, you are relegated to the back, where even the follow mic does not reach you. And that's how a whole 7-8 months went. The next year, the whole bhajan group went to Parthi for a trip. My task for that trip was to carry the harmonium from the room to Mandir, from Mandir to the room. That's all I did. Right? Everybody else did the program. I carried the harmonium. But even then, it was the fact that you could sit there, that anticipation is building, that I'm still waiting for that second chance, and I know what it means to sing in front of him. I don't mind it because I'm waiting for the second chance to happen. The second chance came 1 full year later for the next Tamil New Year's Day only. And again, after the program, Swami called everybody for a group photograph, and that's the time I saw Swami the closest. And I said, no, this is all I want. I still have to hang around. By which time, my brother parallelly had finished studying at Prasanthi Nilayam. He studied between the years 2003 and 2005. And he would send letters back home. Because back in the day, we had only one landline in the hostel. It was impossible to get through. And so he would write letters back home. And in his letters, he would keep writing about the kind of chances that we would get if you were a student in Swami's institution. Especially to sing, especially to speak, and to act. Now, while this phase of my life is going on in Sundaram, at the same time, one evening in 2003, 2004, I happened to go to a coffee shop. And I was sitting by myself when one gentleman walked up to me and he just made a conversation with me. And out of politeness, I was responding to him. And he asked me, "Are you interested in doing theater, drama?" I said, "Yes, I like to act." You should ask my mom, what a good actor I am. I like to act. I would definitely like to be involved. He said, "Why don't you come to this particular place? They are recruiting actors for a new production that's coming up." I go there, all excited. They told me they don't have any acting roles. They have a dancing role. I said, "It's okay. It doesn't matter. Something to get your foot in. It doesn't matter what you do." And I got associated with one of the most prestigious theater companies in the country called Madras Players. They're very famous and they're like more than 70, 75 years old. Rich tradition of theater. And I was exposed to another world of art. And within no time, they started giving me opportunities to act as well. So I'm acting, I'm singing, I talk a lot. And my brother writes back home saying, "This is exactly the kind of chances you'll get when you come to Parthi. Why don't you apply?" But as Anush read out, I was doing my bachelor's in English literature because I had grand dreams of being a sports journalist, a cricket journalist. I thought if you could get paid and get tickets to go watch a match, what better career can you have, right? They're giving you tickets, they're flying you to the match, and they're paying you to watch the match, to write. I thought that would be the best career one could have. So I had undergone my bachelor's in English literature. So the only option for me to apply in Prasanthi Nilayam was either apply to the music college, or you could apply for an MBA, because they did not have a master's in English for the men. When I considered music college, because this is the time I'm singing, my family shot it down saying, you're singing, all right, but don't think you're that good to join a music college. You're just okay, right? And besides, why would you pursue a career in music? We have a company, my mom runs her own company. She said, do an MBA and at least you can join me back for work, you can work with me. It makes sense to do an MBA because my brother had also done his MBA. So with only MBA as a choice to apply for, I was going to apply for my MBA in 2006. A guy who did and left math last in class 10 is aspiring to enter a management program. So I had to take extensive tuitions for it to even appear for the test, because there's nothing in the test that would make sense to me except for the English part of it. So I go in for my coaching to write the MBA entrance. I write the MBA entrance in 2006. In 2006, the third year in succession that I was part of the Sundaram Bhajan Group's program, Tamil New Year's Day program, but this time Swami had celebrated it in Kodaikanal. So I went to Kodaikanal for the same. And so when I go to Prasanthi Nilayam, I write the entrance exam in 2006. I clear the entrance exam. Blessings again. I do well in my interview. I do well in my group discussion. And I get admitted. I join and I'm informed by inside sources that I topped the MBA entrance. Okay? Absolutely cannot take credit for it at all. I have no idea how such an incident happened. And like I said, it's inside sources, so I can only claim it. There's no way to validate it, but that's what I was told, because I had a classmate by name Siddhartha. And when the results were taken to Swami was in Vrindavan, and Swami asked who came first. And they told Swami, one student by name Siddhartha. So Swami turned to him and said, is it you? And then the registrar informed Swami saying, no Swami, not him, he came 6th. But this is some other boy. And then Swami looked at him and frowned to say, you came 6th. So this boy, he had already made, mental notes saying, I need to meet this Siddhartha who put me down in front of Swami. So he's the one who came and told me much later saying, something, even before I know you, your name caused damage for me because Swami was not happy that I didn't get the first mark. So like I said, blessings are plenty. And all this through the right people, through the right moments. I'm sure when we all look back, you will realize this is true in your own respective lives as well. Because we don't meet people by chance. People don't give us something by chance. Whether it was the gentleman who just walked past me and decided to have a conversation with me in the coffee shop. Because, for example, now I did join Prasanthi Nilayam. I did act in many dramas. And after my time as a student, I have been involved in the dramas after I joined as a teacher. All of this, the prime learning I had, if I tell you, it came because I happened to meet somebody who came and spoke to me of his own. I don't think it is coincidence. And I don't think it can't be coincidence that my cousin walked home with a cassette. He could have given me a cassette of Ilayaraja songs. Thankfully, he didn't. Right? He chose to give me Sai Bhajans, which has literally made my life what it is. So when I say accept my blessings, when Swami says accept my blessings, the blessings comes in so many ways, in so many forms, through so many people, through so many circumstances. Now, coming back to that phrase, I just want to dwell on the first part of the phrase, which is accept my blessings. Because this got me thinking, why should Swami say, accept my blessings? Is there a reason why he said accept? Because acceptance, if you look at acceptance, it's easiest to tell, but it is the toughest to follow. Right? Acceptance is what, if we had in life, every situation and circumstance becomes so much more easier to handle if you had acceptance. Is that why Swami used the term accept my blessings? When it comes to acceptance of God's will or blessings, even Swami, he says, love my uncertainty. Right? One of our professors would keep telling us, he would say, Swami says, love my uncertainty. We don't even accept his uncertainty. And he would say that, you have to accept. Love is a much higher state to reach. You can't love something or someone without accepting them. Right? So if we have to love Swami's uncertainty, which is what Swami wants from us, anything that is uncertain, and so if we believe that it is Swami's doing, Swami wants us to embrace that uncertainty. To embrace and love it, it starts with accepting his uncertainty. A beautiful line, a few lines from a poem that is very close to my heart is, the title of the poem is 11 Addresses to the Lord. And it is by this person, John Berryman. I quote, he writes, I have made up a morning prayer to you, containing with precision everything that most matters. According to thy will, the thing begins. It took me off and on 2 days. It does not aim at eloquence. You have come to my rescue again and again in my impassable, sometimes despairing years. You have allowed my brilliant friends to destroy themselves, and I am still here, severely damaged but functioning. Unknowable as I am unknown to my guinea pig, how can I love you? I only as far as gratitude and awe confidently and absolutely go. So he says it starts with accepting God's will. He says my whole work starts with accepting God's will. And he closes with this very beautiful line where he says, you are as unknowable as I am unknown to my guinea pig. How much does my pet know me? It knows my smell, it knows my sound. Yes, but how much does it know me? That's how much I know you. That's how much I can know you. He says, when you are like this, how can I love you? But he says, I can definitely have gratitude and awe. So talking about accepting a blessing, how do we recognize a blessing when we see it? Swami wants us to accept it. But my first question is, can we recognize it? Because sometimes, will you return a gift that somebody gives you just because it didn't come in the gift wrapper that you imagined it? You won't return a gift just because it's not the color of gift wrapper that you imagine, right? Accepting his blessings, because his blessings can come in such myriad different ways. Do we have the ability to accept them as they come? Now, I will continue the story from the time I joined as a student. Because when I was preparing for this talk, I was going through some of my diaries, some of my diary entries that I made during my period as a student between 2006 and 2009. I realized that one of the biggest follies that I made was that I didn't accept his blessings because I didn't know they were blessings in the first place. I didn't accept his blessings because it was not the blessings that I wanted. Because I'll tell you, when I was reading, after every few pages, I was just sitting and hitting myself because of what I had written in my diaries. The joy of the chance that I got, I lost the joy of the chance because I was looking at what I did not get. my diary entry actually says things like, Swami took my letter, but he didn't give Pad Namaskar. And I put a sad smiley there. So obviously that day when I entered it, I was not happy. Now when I look back, the joy of giving him the letter, I never retained that joy. So when I joined as a student, there were so many singers in the bhajan group. It was still those days where we were singing by ourselves, solo singing. Because there were so many singers, we all had dedicated days in the week. We all had one day in the week, and on that one day, we would not be anything before the 6th or the 7th bhajan. And Swami would definitely sit for 4 or 5. Which means, if he gets up before your turn, you come back the next week. You don't go the next day saying, yesterday Swami got up before my bhajan. No, because the next day there's a different guy who's got his turn. Many of my diary entries of my bhajans go from Tuesday to Tuesday. I've written this Tuesday, I sang this bhajan. Then after that there's nothing to write because my next interaction is only the next Tuesday. One of the Tuesdays I have written, today I didn't get chance to sing because Swami gave Ugadi discourse. I can't tell you how ashamed I felt when I read it now. Swami gave discourse. I have not written one point about the discourse. The entire discourse I've been worried whether I will get my turn or not. Now when you say accept my blessings, we are not ready to accept it the way he is giving it. Is it not? Now, I will continue with my story where I finished my first year of MBA. In fact, I noted that it took me exactly 1 year to sing 50 bhajans. Because one a week, it took me 50 weeks to sing my 50 bhajans in front of Swami. But now it's no more that one more bhajan. Now I don't have a number. I just want to keep singing. Right? Because you know the joy that it gives is something that is so unparalleled. You know one more won't do. So I finished my first year of MBA. I wait to see if Swami... So, in my first year, before I come to the finish of it, in my first year is when the Atirudra Mahayajnam happened in Prasanthi Nilayam for the first time, 2006. And shortly after, Swami announced that he would be conducting an Atirudra Mahayajnam in Chennai in January, and that he would be going there as well. So there was a lot of buzz because Swami was going to Chennai after 1997 or 98. Swami was going for the first time in 2007. And there was a buzz amongst the students that Swami, if he's traveling, Swami will take singers to Chennai. Swami will take speakers to Chennai because he'll have to have boys give speech. And if you know Tamil, even better. So I had a room leader, one of my seniors who was my room leader. When this rumor went around that, Swami is going to pick students, he planted a seed in my mind. He said, you are going. I said, how? I'm not one of those senior singers. He said, look at what are the chances of this coming together? Swami goes to Chennai the year you join, and you are from Sundaram Bhajan Group. It's like as if Swami waited for you to come here so that he could take you from here to there. Swami wants singer, box tick. Swami wants speaker, you can speak, box tick. Tamil, box tick. You are going. And for some reason, I bought the story. I believed him. One day there was a rumor that Swami is going to pick boys today in the bhajan hall. Heavy rush. Because everybody wants to be seen by Swami, to get picked by Swami. And nothing of that sort happened that day. Swami came, Swami generally spoke to everybody. He didn't indicate anything. He went. He said, don't worry, Swami would have seen you. Swami would have noted. Inside he will tell the names. Okay? So the week leading up to Swami's departure, he said, keep your bags ready. Because when Swami likes us to be prepared, you should not be taken by surprise. Keep your bags ready. I packed my bags. Because in my mind, in my heart, in my soul, I was convinced I'm traveling to Chennai with Swami. I packed my bags. I kept only 2 pairs of whites, which I was alternating every day. Because when you go to Chennai, you don't know how many days. I don't have so many sets of whites. So I packed everything else and I was alternating between 2 sets of clothes. The day is approaching. There's no indication that I'm going. Obviously, right? But this guy is still telling me to believe. And then he tells me one story. He said, last year there was one teacher whom Swami didn't pick to go to Kodai. He kept praying. The last day, Swami is leaving to Kodai tomorrow morning. As he was exiting today, he just looked at him and said, come tomorrow. And Swami left. So till the last minute, you should not give up. I held on to that. That story, you hear a story, you think the same story is going to happen in your life. So I held on to that. I waited. The last darshan, tomorrow morning, Swami is going to Chennai. Previous evening, because that sir got an indication the previous evening, I'm waiting for Swami to see me. Nothing happened. Swami took Aarti and left. I came back to the room. This guy is still not giving up. He's saying, don't give up. Tomorrow morning also Swami can send word. Don't give up. Now when I look back, tickets have been booked, which means those names would have been cleared by Swami long back. But when I left the next morning, we all went to Mandir to have darshan because Swami was driving out to the airport. When I was leaving the hostel, the luggages of the boys who were going to Chennai were being loaded. They were kept in the lobby because a tractor was coming to take it to the airport directly. I told one of the boys, I'm going to Mandir. Swami might say, come. My suitcase is outside my door. Pick it up. I'll send word to the hostel. Pick it up. Call it faith, call it audacity, call it stupidity. It's all the same. There's probably not even a fine line between the 3. I went to Mandir, fully ready that Swami is going to say, come. Anticipating it and visualizing it. Swami's car came. I was in the path. So I'm sitting with the confidence that, yes, Swami, everything is ready. You just have to nod. I can come straight to the airport. Swami looks at me as he goes past. Swami looks at me. Swami looks at me. And Swami's car goes. When I saw Swami's car go past, and only after I saw his number plate, I realized that I'm not going. Then it hit me. My God, he didn't tell. He didn't say anything. He's gone. Right? But, like I said, accept my blessings. I was not meant to go. In all those days, that yearning was what probably was supposed to be intensified. Now I can theorize it so beautifully, but back then it was not so. So I was so upset for some time. Swami went to Chennai. Swami returned from Chennai. After he returned, I had a dream. And in the dream, Swami is telling me, I missed taking you. He pacified me in the dream for not taking me. I think that today is much closer to me than having been one more of those boys who would have gone with him. But then why would the Lord have to take the trouble of coming and explaining himself to me? That is why he's beyond our understanding. Right? I have some details which obviously I will not share on a public forum, but it was such a beautiful dream where he took the time off to come and explain that. And he said, I missed seeing you somewhere, he said. Means I wanted to, but I didn't see you. Again, it's a drama because I was showing him my face. I was right in front of his face every day for the whole month. But yes, so this happened. And the first year ended. There was an anticipation that Swami is going to take boys to Kodaikanal. Now I'm 50-50. Should I wait? Should I not wait? Will I go? Will I not go? I waited. I didn't go. Swami didn't pick me. And in my diary, I've written, I sang a bhajan that day. the day I was leaving, and Swami was expected to leave to Kodaikanal the next day, I was leaving the previous day to Chennai, and I've written saying, I sang and showed him what he's missing out on when he goes to Kodai. The joy of singing that bhajan is lost in the panga that I've taken with him. You're not taking me, no? Fine. You don't know what you're missing. Right? The first year ended. I came back for the second year. After Swami came back from Kodaikanal, the year started. We came back to the college. And after about 15-20 days, we usually get our results for the previous semester. And I have a habit, because of my gifted nature in terms of academics, I never check my results. I like somebody else to do that job. Just come and convey the news to me. Good, bad, ugly, just come and tell me the news. I don't want to go see it. Because the whole thing of, pushing past those people and trying to look for your number on that sheet and all is too much for me to take. So it was between 2 hours, the second and the third hour of a working day, that the results were put up. News came, results have been put up. And I told one of my friends, when you're checking yours, check mine also. So he went, he came back, and when I saw his face, I knew something was off. Must be with my results, not with his. And he said, you failed. I said, okay, which paper? He said, you failed in accounts. No surprises, BA literature. First time I saw a ledger book was in class. And I was sitting next to a boy who was a BCom gold medalist, right? So it's C's apart from BA literature to go to financial cost accounting. So I said, oh, okay, accounts. I said, we don't have any more quants papers, only 2 quants papers. Which one did I fail? He said, you failed HR. And I didn't buy that at all, because just for my language, I should have passed. The amount of English content, if they had read my English, they would have been convinced of my answers, they should have passed me. I said, I should not have failed HR. He said, no, you failed HR. And then somebody tells me the rule that if you fail more than 2 papers, you have to discontinue. And you have to repeat the semester again, the same semester again. So now this was a bridge too far for me to take. I'm used to failing. I failed a plenty in my life. But to fail a year and then the whole stigma around it and discontinuing. So I came down, the third hour ended, I was coming down, I bump into the warden who informs me that now you are no more a part of the hostel, you have to vacate. I said, already, you just put up the results, right? He said, yes, that's the rule, 3 papers, you have to discontinue. I told him I'm going to apply for retotaling. Re-evaluation, I know it's too much of a risk because there wouldn't be anything there to evaluate, especially the quants. So I said, retotaling. He looked at me, he said, okay, he realized I'm buying time. He said, okay, fine, you apply. My first job was to make sure that this news does not reach my family in Chennai. Obviously, I didn't want my parents to know, my brother to know. So I managed to shut all the communication channels between Parthi and Chennai that I know of. And I've applied for retotaling. They said it'll take a few days to come. And the tension is building up in me. I think between Thursday and Sunday, I'm trying to pretend that everything is normal with my family, but obviously something has gone off. On Sunday evening, I called my mother on the phone, and I was just trying to have a casual conversation, trying to check if she's heard about it or not. And then I'm hearing a lot of noise behind her. I said, where are you? She said, I'm on the bus to Parthi. I said, why are you coming now? She said, I don't know, something I felt that, I should come see you. Mother's instinct is a deadly thing, right? You can't mess with it. I'm trying to say, no, don't come. She said, what, don't come? Buses left Chennai. I'm on the outskirts of Chennai. I'm coming tomorrow morning. So now I know the die is cast, right? There's no way I can extend this drama anymore. I've developed fever. Okay, I'm very sick because of all this tension. The next day my mother comes, she sees me, she says, you're very sick, let's go to the hospital. So she takes me to GH. I've still not told her the news. We go to GH. The doctor checks me. She says, Nothing, it's just a lot of gas. You have a little bit of fever. Is there anything bothering you? The doctor says. The actor in me says, no, nothing. No, there's something, there's a lot of tension, BP, all that is not looking good. I said, no, nothing. Okay, we'll put you on drips, she said. And she put me on drips. So then she left. She said, we'll keep you in observation for a while and then you can go. Now that was the most dramatic setting that I could break the news to my mother. Drips, hospital bed, lying down. So I gently broke the news to her. I said, Amma, the results have come. Okay, what happened? I said, I failed 3 papers. So I have to discontinue. Obviously, once the news went out of the system, I got better as well. First, of course, she was all teary-eyed. She said, okay, what should we do? I said, we have to discontinue now. We have to come back in November. Because this is July. I come back in November and join the second semester again. Okay, fine. Okay, we'll go have darshan and then we'll go, she said. Because I had to now vacate the hostel as well. So I vacated the hostel. We went for darshan that evening. My mother gave a letter to give to Swami. I had my letter as well. Because I wanted to inform Swami as well that I'm discontinuing. Swami came into the bhajan hall earlier than usual. Even before he sat, he called me out. So I went and I gave him the letter that my mother gave. And here I am, knowing that if you inform Swami that you failed, he will be very upset. But he must have been informed by the teachers. I don't want to upset him. So I'm talking to him with the awareness that he knows everything. I don't want to tell you, Swami, you already know, right? He opened my mother's letter and he started reading it out to me, reading it out loud to me. And then he pointed to a line and he said, see what your mother has written. So I went closer to Swami and my mother had written in bold, Swami, you know what is best. And Swami underlined that and said, see what she's written. I said, yes, Swami, I agree with her. You know what is best. Go, come back in November, he said. I took Pad Namaskar and I came back. I discontinued. I joined back in November. For want of time, I'm just proceeding with, I'm clipping some parts of the story. But when I came back in November, I joined back to being a first-year student. And at that time, in those 6 months, I spent all my waking hours studying for those 2 quants papers that I failed. I come back and join. I'm doing that paper technically for the 3rd time because I've done it once, I've studied it once in the 6 months break, and I'm studying it a 3rd time. And still I know nothing. I can't explain to you that state of thoughtlessness, how blank a mind can go when you don't want it to. And at this time, Swami is not talking to me. And at around this time, one day at Bhajans, at Darshan, I noticed one brother who was a batchmate of mine. He was sitting far behind. And as Swami was getting into his car, he just looked from far like that. He did, and he smiled to himself. When I saw that smile on this brother's face, I was stupefied because I felt he is happier than everybody else here. He's sitting in some 30th row. Swami is not looking at him. And here I am sitting in the front. Not one day I'm as happy as him. So I figured that the problem is the yearning that I'm having. Because I'm yearning for Swami's attention. I'm yearning for chances. I'm yearning for Swami to look at me, to speak to me, take my letter, give Pad Namaskar. But here is somebody who comes late, who sits in the last row, has Dur Darshan, and his contentment, I was jealous of his contentment. So then I figured that the problem here is this yearning. So I wrote a letter to Swami, and I said, Swami, if you cannot fulfill my yearning, take away the yearning. Let me just enjoy darshan like people who don't have anything to get. Because I think this is not allowing me to experience you. Every day is going in, where am I sitting? Is Swami seeing me? Is he coming this side? If he sees me, he has to talk to me. If he has spoken to me, he has to give Pada Namaskar. If he gives Pada Namaskar, he should give me Vibhuti packet. I mean, the list is endless, right? So I wrote this letter and sat one day at Bhajan. And Swami looked at me and he called me. I gave the letter. He opened the letter, which I didn't expect. And he read the whole letter. And Swami looked at me and gave me a stare. I was shivering, okay? Have I written something that I should not have? And then Swami looked at me and said, take Pada Namaskar. In my mind, I'm thinking, letter is answered. He's taking away the yearning. This is the last Pada Namaskar. After this, the desire won't be there maybe. So let's take our own sweet time. I took my own sweet time, took Pada Namaskar, kissed his feet, came back and sat. One of our teachers who noticed this, after bhajans, he met me and he said, something was going on between you and Swami today. The way Swami was looking at you and the way you were looking at Swami. I said, yes sir, this is what happened, this is what transpired. I think he has taken away the yearning. He's going to answer my prayer and take away the yearning. And then he said, you have made such a big mistake. He said, the one thing you should never surrender is your yearning. Because you have the right to yearn for God. How can you live without that yearning? You've made a very big mistake. I don't know how Swami or you are going to undo this. Now he tells me, after the letter is gone, Swami sends the message. But in my mind, I was convinced, maybe it's done. My first year ended after 2 years. And then started my second year. And the way the exams went, I thought it was only a matter of time before I was again going to be sent. And this time, if you fail, you're out. And I was sure it is going to happen. June came. From the first day onwards, Swami's frequency of talking to me increased. So in my mind, I'm thinking, the day results come, I'm going to be out. Swami knows that. So whatever little karma that is left, no, he's giving us chances now. So I interpreted the chances as results that are going to come because I know I've not done the exams well again. But eventually the exams results came and I have no idea I passed all the exams. Now, I start my second year. Towards the end of the second year, as you know, back then, students would ask Swami what to do next. And I also took brave to go and ask him because I didn't know whether I should go back to Chennai or I should stay back. So I thought best is to let Swami decide. So I go to Swami. Swami calls me one day and I say, Swami, MBA అయిపోయింది Swami, what should I do next? And Swami says, do PhD. PhD. This is not there in the list at all, right? I mean, I said, Swami, PhD. He said, yeah, do PhD. Very confidently, Swami said. He didn't have a second thought about it. Yes, do PhD. So I said, Swami, I'll do it because you are asking me to do it. Yeah, okay, do it, he said. Now that year, being my final year, I got picked to go to Kodai with Swami. All the years of yearning finally came and had some fruition because Swami identified me to go to Kodai. And in Kodai, multiple times Swami is asking me, what have you done? I said, Swami, I've done MBA. You go and work in some bank, he said. I said, no, Swami, you told me to do PhD. Okay, do PhD. Another day, what are you doing? Swami, MBA is over. You go work in company. I said, no, Swami, you told me to do PhD. But this kept going. And I'm writing down, every time Swami is speaking to me, I'm writing down. Until one last time, when Swami asked and I replied. But that time, I replied, Swami, I want to do PhD. As long as it was, Swami, you told me to do, so I am doing, he kept throwing other options at me. But for the first time, involuntarily, when I said, Swami, I want to do PhD, that was the end of it. Yes, if you have come to terms with it, this is what I was waiting for. And in Kodai one evening, when Swami was talking to the elders who were seated there, he was talking about Prapti. Suddenly Swami looked at me and he said, how many boys in your class? He said. I said, Swami, 50 boys. And then Swami immediately looked at that elder and said, Chudu, Idu class lo 50 mandi unnaru. See, in his class there are 50 boys. Kani nenu veedu matra teeskone vachanu. But I brought only him. Plane lo ante space untundi, Swami plane lo. He said, I can bring only so many people in the plane. And when Swami remarked this, my immediate reaction was, actually from my class of 50, we were about 9 or 10 of us who had gone to Kodai. Okay? So I almost corrected Swami. Saying, Swami, no Swami, not just me, he's there. We are all from the same class. But I had the better sense to shut my mouth and just listen to what Swami was saying. And within a few seconds, I realized that from the class of 50 in MBA from 2006 to 2008, I was the only one. But I was counting the class of 2007 to 2009 and saying there are 8 more. Now, I would not have gone to Kodai if I had not failed that year. And between 2008, which was the final year, which should have been my final year, Swami didn't go to Kodai. My batchmates whom I originally joined with never had the opportunity to go because in 2008, Swami never went. And in 2009, when he went, he tells me that I'm the only one in that 50 and he's bang on. Of course, he's bang on. Because I was the only one of the 06 batch who was sitting there in Sai Shruti that day. And today when I look back, how many of us would deny or decline a chance to fail for 1 year if it meant going with him to Kodaikanal? We would fail multiple years if it guaranteed a chance to go to Kodaikanal. That's what any student would tell you. So when I say accept my blessings, accepting the circumstances, accepting the challenges that are thrown at our way, not all his blessings come in the form in which we are expecting it. Sometimes it comes as challenges. Sometimes it comes as life-altering situations. But nevertheless, they are his blessings. And this is something that I learned from an experience one of the brothers, elder brothers, shared with me. He happened to have the privilege of staying with Bhagawan. And one night, he says this happened sometime in 1994. One night, he was in the room and he says he woke up in the middle of the night because he sensed that Swami was awake. And when he woke up, he saw that Swami was indeed awake. Swami was seated at his dressing table and Swami was writing something. And so this brother got up and he was in attention and Swami looked and said, "Oh, did I wake you up?" He said, "No, Swami, I woke up." Swami said, "Come here." And Swami showed him what Swami had written and said, "Read it. See how it is." The gist of that, he says, is Swami writes, there is a drizzle. When the drizzle falls, you enjoy getting wet in the drizzle. When it rains, you're okay getting wet, but you also stand and watch the rain. You don't dislike the rain. But when there is a hailstorm, you won't stand outside. You'll avoid it at all costs. And Swami writes, if you give it time, the drizzle, the rain, and the hail, you will realize that all of them are water. All of it is water. They're just in different forms. Likewise, Swami says, all the challenges, all the good moments, all of it is Swami's love. If you just give it time, you will realize that it is nothing but Swami's love in a different form. So, That's why I thought when I looked at that phrase, accept my blessings, can we accept everything that comes our way as His blessings? Do we recall the blessings as blessings themselves? Are we able to identify the blessings? Are we able to accept these challenging moments in our lives as blessings? I can go on. Literally, for want of time, I've had to cut short on a lot of things that I wanted to say. But how has this changed for me in the last 14, 15 years after Swami's Mahasamadhi? I would say it hasn't changed at all. If anything, I would just say that He has given the grace and the insight more often to accept things and to recognize His blessings. For His presence is always there. His grace is always there, just like His blessings. His presence is always there, just as His blessings are. It's just that we have not been able to constantly recognize them. I'll give you a couple of stories and I'll close with that. So this happened when I was doing my PhD, which, like I said, was at Swami's behest. And I wanted to complete it in a particular year. Somehow, something in me kept saying, try to finish it and get it this convocation. The feeling was something may not happen after this year. Just try to finish it this year. So in the course of my thesis, which has got to do a lot with cricket, I thought it would make a lot of sense for me to interview some cricketers. So I got in touch with somebody in Chennai who promised to take me to meet some Indian cricketers who play for the Chennai Super Kings. So he told me, on such and such a date, you can come before the IPL starts. I will take you and get you to interview them. It's possible for him to do it. So when I had this meeting with him, I came back to Parthi and I'm working towards taking a week off from work, because you can't meet them, just in one day. You have to give a few days. So when I came back to Parthi, one day I was reading for my thesis and I came across a book called 22 Yards to Freedom. It was written by an author whom I have referred to before. So I was very surprised that in 6 years I have not heard of this book at all. So I quickly Googled to find this book. It was not available in India. It was available in US and it cost roughly about 24,000 rupees because very limited copies are left. So that was a lot of money. I was thinking, do I need it? Should I buy it? Should I not? Will it be useful? And in that process, I eventually told myself, you know what, till 10 minutes back, this book didn't exist. I didn't hear about it. PhD was going fine. Forget you saw it. Just don't think that this book is the be-all and end-all of the research. So I gave up all ambitions to buy that book. So now fast forward, I've come to Chennai. As promised by that gentleman, I've reached. I call him. He doesn't take my calls. 2 days later, he picks and he says, you come to the stadium. So I go to the stadium. I can't reach anybody. Then he says, come to the hotel. I go to the hotel. Can't reach anybody. And for me, days are running out. Right? I have only 1 week. I have to go back to Parthi. And I want to finish my chapters and submit it this year because we have to finish it a couple of months before if you want to graduate that year. So the 7 days ended. Meeting nobody except for fellow fans like me outside the stadium and outside the hotel. And tomorrow I have to leave for Parthi. I'm sitting in my room, very upset. I look at the photo of Swami in my room and I just look at Swami and I say, why? Why this? He's the one who promised and now he has given heart. What do I do now? And I'm doing this PhD only because you asked me to do. Could have helped, no? Could have done something, right? Like this, just, moaning to him. I thought I have to leave for the airport the next day. Usually we end up buying books at the airport which we never finish, right? We buy it out of Josh, but it just never gets completed. So I thought I'll save some money, take a book from my cupboard. So I opened my cupboard. I'm just looking through to see which book I can take. And then my eyes fall on a book, 22 Yards to Freedom. So I'm telling myself, I'm imagining. This is not possible. That book is haunting me from somewhere. And then I continued looking at the rack, and then I said, no, but wait, what did I see? I go back, I find that book, I pull the book. It is that same book, 22 Yards to Freedom. Okay? So I'm very surprised. It looks brand new. It's not been opened even once. I open the book. First page, it says, Happy Birthday Sidhu, December 2003. And it says, Happy Birthday Sidhu, lots of love, not Baba, okay? Lots of love, Poppy. I have no idea who this person is. No idea who this person is. And whenever I tell the story, I hope somebody in the audience will wake up and say, I am that Poppy. You forgot me. That exact book is sitting in my cupboard. If I were to believe it, sitting in my cupboard from 2003, and I'm finding it in 2019. And what are the chances that I find it on the day when I needed a sign that I am there to help you finish your PhD? Why are you crying? So what if that didn't happen? You wanted this book, no? Take it and go. In 2003, that book cost 495 rupees. If somebody had invested in some 20 copies, no? They could have sold it now for 24,000 rupees. Just imagine the appreciation that book has gone through. But of course, beyond all, that book is priceless for me. I wouldn't sell it for 24,000 rupees for sure. So, accept my blessings. It will come. Tough situations come. Accept it as my blessing. You didn't? I'll give you a sign of my blessing also. Take it. Right? So even in that, I believe that Swami knows when what has to happen. Just go with the flow. Accept everything as his blessings. And like he has himself written in that letter, the hailstorm is also his love. The drizzle is also his love. The only thing worth asking is to recognize signs of his grace. Because when we don't, that's where the problem is. And the only thing we can pray for is to have the heart to love him more and more. We don't need to ask him for anything. What we need, and Swami himself says, the Divine Mother will give even before you ask. And will give you things that you need, things that you want. She knows better what you need and what you want. Don't ask. In the Aarti, Mangala Aarti, we sing Ashrita Kalpalatika, the wish-fulfilling creeper. And Swami himself writes in one of his letters to students, you have the Kamadhenu in your backyard, wish-fulfilling Kamadhenu in your backyard, and you ask for coffee powder. Why ask? Because when we ask, we end up asking for things like coffee powder. Which is why in the Aarti, we sing Ashrita Kalpalatika, and the next word is Apad Bhandava. He has to save us from the things that we end up asking from that creeper, which are not good for us. We don't know what is good for us. We don't know what we need, what we don't need. When he doesn't give us something, we should be doubly happy because he knows what has to come. At the time it has to come, it will come. Which is why it makes sense to sing Apad Bandhava. Swami, save me because I may still end up asking things that I don't need. And those things may be detrimental for me. Therefore, you have to be my Apad Bandhava in that case. That also he has to do. He has that job as well. Right? So, before the chits reach that it's time, I see that it is 7 already. And I can only thank all of you for allowing me to share my heart, remind myself of the so many blessings that I've had the opportunity to receive, many of which I had allowed myself to forget until I got the call for this talk. So let's accept His blessings, understand His blessings, let us look out for His blessings, let us just be, for He is there to take care of us every single moment of our lives. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Sairam.
Sairam. Siddharth, probably the only chit that would have come our way is let him continue. I think the applause and the ensuing silence is sign enough of the overwhelming feeling that has enveloped all of us after such a deep, touching talk. Like you started, I think all of us were connected. For the beauty of this avatar is that he has come for each one of us. If I were to summarize this whole talk, I think it is just in 2 sentences, 3 words each. One from the Divine Mother and one from the physical mother. Accept his blessings, and Swami knows best. I think I wouldn't be capable of, summarizing what Brother Siddharth has told all of us, but just probably one single message. Through yearning, through failure, through joy, through success, through work, and even through sorrow, let us always remember, Swami knows best. Accept his blessings. Thank you so much for coming all the way, sharing your wonderful experiences, deepest thoughts on this occasion. A little token of our love and gratitude for making this trip. I invite Vishwanathan Uncle to please felicitate Brother Siddharth. As we walk away today, I think all of us will be reflecting on all the innumerable wondrous blessings that we have received. We will now have Bhagawan's bhajan in his golden voice, followed by Mangala Arati and Prasadam. Sairam.
प्रेम मुदित मन से कहो राम 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 श्री राम 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 प्रेम मुदित मन से कहो राम राम प्रेम मुदित मन से कहो राम 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 श्री राम 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 प्रकट दुख मिटे लेत राम नाम। भव समुद्र सुखद नाव एक राम नाम। परम शांति सुख निदान दिय राम नाम। निराधार को आधार एक राम नाम। माता पिता बंधु सखा सब ही राम नाम। भक्त जनर जीवन जन एक राम नाम। भक्त जनर जीवन जन एक राम नाम। राम 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 श्री राम राम राम।
Shanti, Shanti. Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Swami Sathya Sai Hare, Bhaktana Samrajaka, Bhaktana Samrajaka, Bhakti Hare Hare. Om Jai Jagadish Hare. Swami Sarva Pranapati, Asika Kalpayatita, Asika Kalpayatita, Om Jai Jagadish Hare. Pita Guru Deva, Hariyam Dayuni, Swami Hariyam Dayuni, Nara Brahma Nara, Nara Brahma Nara, Hari Hari, Om Jai Jagadish Hare. Om Jai Rupa Om Sai Mahadeva, Sathya Sai Mahadeva, Mandala, Mandala, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय। परमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थ इष्टार्थ मोक्ष परमं पवित्रं बाबा विचित्रं